I'm Sharon. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. We move on now in the Grade 4 Discovering Music Theory workbook to page 39, looking at the topic of intervals, where we now add the interval of a minor second. So let's just refresh our memory on what we've discussed so far in previous grades on intervals. And so we know that C to D is a second of some sort. We're going from step 1 of the scale to step 2. And we know that in C major has no sharps or flats, and so C to D is a full step, a full tone, and that's a major second. Remember that major means larger, minor means smaller, and so C to D is that full step. And so now we can adjust that by making it a semitone smaller and going from C to D flat, which is just a semitone apart. Now you can't think of it as C sharp. It's got to be from a C something to a D something. And here we've gone to a D flat. We've made the major interval smaller by a semitone. It's now a minor interval. Minor means smaller. And so we've adjusted that by a semitone. And basically a semitone apart is a minor second, but you must remember that it's from C something to D something. It's got to go up a step on the stave to be a second of any sort. And so we know that a full tone is a major second and a semitone is a minor second. We know that C major has no sharps or flats, and then we can adjust it by a semitone by dropping it down to D flat and making it into a minor second. And so we know that chromatic scales are made up of semitones, or we could say they're made up entirely of minor second intervals. We know that, for example, the major scale is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So they're a mixture of major and minor intervals, whereas the chromatic scale is entirely made up of semitones, entirely made up of minor seconds. And so we need to find all of the minor seconds within these different major and minor scales. And we can do that in two ways really, because here we have a major scale, and we know that the major scale, the semitones occur between steps 3 and 4 and 7 to 8. However, we can double check that because we know here that F, remember don't forget to apply the key signature, F to G flat and C to D flat are the semitones, or at least we could say the minor seconds. And when we're counting intervals, we've always got to count the lowest note as if we were counting from the tonic. So even though we're on D flat major, we still think of F as the tonic here because we're seeing what distance it is, and we know that F to G is a major second. F major has only B flats in it, as it were. F to G is a major second, but we can also just think it's a tone apart, and then F has been made smaller, so a minor second from F is to G flat. However, you'd have to go through each of these and think, well, D flat to E flat to F, F to G flat, and so on. And it's just quite time consuming, whereas if you just remember that the major scale is made up of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. 3 to 4 and 7 to 8, which we first covered way back in grade 1. A major scale is always a major scale. The semitones will always fall in the same place. That's why we have the key signature to make that pattern of tones and semitones. And so we could apply the same principle now for B harmonic minor. We know that in the harmonic minor, whether it is ascending or descending, steps 2 to 3, 5 to 6 and 7 to 8 are semitones, or we could say minor seconds. And we can see here that A sharp to B is a minor second. We know that A to B is a major second. A sharp, by raising the lower note, we've still closed the interval, so if you have a sharp on the lower note, it raises the lower note and makes the interval smaller. So we have A sharp to B, we know that that's a semitone. We have F sharp to G, and again we know that F to G is a full tone or a major second, and if we raise the lower note, we've made the interval smaller, it becomes minor F sharp to G. And the same principle here for A sharp to B. We know that A to B is a major second, a full tone. Raise the lower note to A sharp to B is a semitone or a minor second. And so again, it would be more time consuming to check every single note, whereas you know the pattern of the harmonic minor scale. Now then, E major, of course, regardless of what clef it's written in, we know that 1, 2, 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7 to 8. Remember, we're descending now, so we've got to count upwards. These are going to be the semitones. And so that kind of does the thinking for us because we know the major scale pattern. However, we can see that E to D sharp, or D sharp to E, we would say, is a minor second. We always count from the lowest note, really. So D to E we know is a major second, D sharp to E is a minor second. And so we could work it out looking at every note next to each other. It's just that that's more time consuming. So actually I can just go ahead and circle these because we know that these are the semitones. So let's look at the last part of exercise 1. So we're looking at G sharp minor in the melodic minor form. Now I do find this perhaps a little trickier because the ascending and descending form have different arrangements of tones and semitones. However, if you remember that ascending in the melodic minor scale, it's 2 to 3 and 7 to 8 are the semitones, and then descending, it's 6 to 5, 3 to 2. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1. However, I find it difficult to remember that sometimes, so it's no hardship to work it out for at least just this one scale pattern if you feel like you can't remember that number progression there. However, we can see, if you refer to your piano keyboard, we can see that G sharp to F sharp is a tone, F sharp to E is a tone. However, E to D sharp is a semitone. D sharp to C sharp is a tone, C sharp to B is a full tone, B to A sharp, however, is a semitone. And we can see that the descending version is 6 to 5, 3 to 2. And then, of course, A sharp to G sharp is a full step, a major second, a full tone. And so there are a number of ways that you can go about that. You can remember the progressions of semitones in each of the scale patterns, and you can double check it just by looking at the relationship of the notes next to each other using a little piano visual aid to help you there. And so that's that page completed. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons, you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.